period for you satirists?
Yeah, you just sort of have a feeling of, oh, would you just do something? You know, there was David Cameron with just a generic posh sort of accent in this way, appearing as though he wanted to get out of the interview as quickly as possible. And for those instances, you kind of have to make up a character for them. With Boris, you don't have to do that for sure. He gives you it all on a very salubrious, highly polished platter.
You've had a long time on the Brexit story now. We've been talking about it for a few years since that referendum. Does it get hard to find more material from it?
It's a very interesting thing. In recent years, Trump and Brexit are the stories that won't go away. So you just have to keep finding the new topicality that runs within it. It's sort of like a topical stream. You know, there is enough variation to keep the comedy ticking over and keep it fresh. But I'll be glad when it's done.
And I suppose it is partly the behind closed doors meetings that are going on, that have been all the way through, the diplomacy that we don't see, that maybe you try to illuminate and imagine.
Very much so. I think that's part of our role, to give a hint of what really may be going on, to give a sense of what's behind the spin, what's behind the presentation, to bring a little sense of truth, and also to sprinkle in a healthy amount of ridicule, throw a few rotten tomatoes, put the comedy in there as well, mix the jokes in. That's the perfect cocktail that we like to aim for. And I think with satire now, you do get the feeling that the audience turns to your show to simplify things, to crystallise things.
Thanks to John Culshaw, renowned impressionist from the satirical programme Dead Ringers. Of course, over the next hours here on the BBC, full coverage of the real British Prime Minister as he has those meetings in Paris. You'll hear all of the analysis on that on NewsHour here on the BBC World Service. Thanks very much indeed for listening to World Update.
Good morning from the Below Center for New Media at the University of Texas. This is KUT and KUT HD1 Austin. We are online at KUT.org. I'm Miles Blockson. Remember, you can hear KUT on your smart speaker. Just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play KUT," and our stream should start right up. You can also say, "Play NPR," and you'll be asked to set KUT as your favorite station. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at KUT and on Instagram at KUT_Austin. It's coming up on 5 o'clock. Have a good day.
Good morning. What are Iran's leaders thinking as their country confronts the U.S.? They're trying to game out what President Trump is thinking. We question an influential political thinker in this hour of Morning Edition from NPR News.
This is Austin's NPR station, KUT and KUT HD1 Austin.
The U.S. wants Iran to change behavior, but the influential Iranian says, why should we? I'm Steve Inskeep reporting from Tehran.
I'm David Green.
And I'm Noel King. Coming up, what does a new detention rule mean for migrant families?
Plus, after sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's death, the Bureau of Prisons' new director faces an uphill battle to reform the agency. And drug addiction patients struggle with doctors offering unproven treatments. It's Thursday, August 22nd. Bebe, enjoy your panda-friendly frozen cake. The National Zoo's giant panda turns 4 today. The news is next.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. 2 Democrats have announced decisions. Washington State Governor Jay Inslee says he is dropping out of the race for the Democratic presidential nomination. Meanwhile, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, who dropped out of the Democratic contest just last week, made an announcement this morning. He's going to run for the U.S. Senate against Colorado Republican Senator and incumbent Cory Gardner. President Trump says he is no longer thinking about pushing for new tax cuts. That's a change in direction for the president, who said just earlier this week he was considering lowering payroll taxes and perhaps other options. Trump now says it's